because just the weight is a lot higher there. Even those passenger cars, one thing to be careful of is unless the electric sector has gotten to zero, the electric car is still an emitter because of the indirect emissions from the electricity it uses.
Right.
And so only in the places where you both get the electric cars to be a high percentage and you get the electric sources to be zero emission, then you've got that passenger transport car piece getting near to zero.
So that's the goal. The AI conversation seems like it's kind of hard to ignore it in 2019. And I've had conversations with other people who are more negative about it, more pessimistic about just AI and the possible downside. I'm curious if you're more optimistic about the upside of AI or uses for it or ways to possibly make an impact in what you're trying to do.
Well, AI is allowing us to make advances in fields that are really important, like understanding the biology of the human body. It's super complicated. And so if you look at all the data you gather, because the sensors are getting better, trying to understand, okay, how do we help people with obesity? How do we take cancer? Where is the point you want to interfere? Even the one that's really difficult is the brain is so complicated that we don't have drugs for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And so if we want to not just people live longer, but them to live really quality years and not have the medical costs be expanding, that's an area AI people feel like, yeah, I'm not against that.
So see, it definitely has a lot of upside as far as helping to research certain things, helping to find patterns that a human necessarily wouldn't have picked up, things like that. So in medical fields, it's useful. So I agree with you on that. I'm really happy about that. If you could give a couple short bits of good news, some good progress you've observed that some people might not know about to sort of counteract the bad news everyone seems to hear about, what would you say?
Yeah, we used to have 10% of all children born would die before they reached 5 years old. That number is now 5%. And with the right innovations, we can get it by 2030 to 2.5%. So we've gone from 12 million we're dying to now 6 million. And so it's every year 6 million lives saved. All these things are tricky because you don't want to say to people that we shouldn't be mad about the remaining problem.
Right.
So saying to people, hey, feel good about the progress and still, be mad that 6 million are still dying. That's an interesting dichotomy.
It's a good perspective to have because you have to be proud of the progress that's been made, but you still have to look forward at all the work yet to be done. And that's kind of, I guess, what I'm wondering is my next question is, you've put billions of dollars in over a decade into the foundation's work on these issues. Does it make you optimistic about the future that so much progress has been done, or do you look at the challenges ahead and that's like an overwhelming sort of massive amount of work?
In a broad way, the work has gone so well on global health, better than we expected.
Okay.
And the innovation in science that will give us new tools, like an HIV vaccine, a malaria vaccine. So in my lifetime, I hope the whole issue of these diseases that are tough in poor countries, mostly infectious diseases, we can essentially solve those problems. We're close on polio eradication. When I look at politics, I have to admit that there's some trends in terms of what trust people have or how they're polarized. I do worry about that. That's not a deep area. I don't bring, unlike the biology where I get to study it and see it. I'm on the same footing as everybody and seeing these political trends. But yes, there are things that I do worry about. But overall, the human condition, our ability to feed, prevent disease, help people live an enjoyable life, we are making great progress on those things. So as long as we stay committed to them, it makes me love the work and remain optimistic.
All right. Well, I hope, obviously, your work goes as far towards those successes as possible. And I guess my last question would be, knowing that you're doing all this work, but someone in my position, I'm not a philanthropist, I don't necessarily have the means, how does someone like me or someone watching this help in the best way they can?
Well, I wish more people could actually get to these countries, join the Peace Corps, spend time, even just spending a few weeks there and see how great the needs are and see the progress. A lot of volunteer work in the United States builds that sense of, okay, we care about other humans, even beyond our own family group, even people who had very different experiences. So, at a young age, a little bit of giving money away, to form that habit and picking which things you really want